All right, so now we're down here, the final week, and here's the final week, what it looks like. Calories are generally higher during the final week. Let me see if I can get this off here for you. There we go. Okay. So the calories are higher during the last week prior to competition. And that's because we've already depleted the glycogen stores, which is a significant amount, 5 or 6 pounds of muscle, a carbohydrate that stuffs the muscle, that pushes it out to make you look more vascular. So the last week prior, we'll fill the glycogen stores back up, and and of course fully restore the damaged tissues. And by that includes reducing the workload on the final week. And of course, all your creatine, which you've been on all the way to the end, with the last 4 to 5 days, we take it off just in case there's weird water retention with somebody. We want water retention in the muscle, but we don't want it outside the muscle. Okay. Okay, that's not working. Sorry, guys. Something just happened here. Oh, come on. Should I escape it? Yeah, try that. It's like frozen it. Oh, there you go. Now it's working, but I can't see it from that. Can you get that? Yeah, again, I just went back. Okay, sorry, guys. Okay. Now, the bottom line is the athlete you're working with looks harder, more muscular, that's okay, and more vascular each day. If they're losing this appearance, you got to drop the carbs, because we've now brought them back up. Remember, look down at the bottom here. We brought them back up here, so the carbs are coming back into the situation. Not too much, but significantly, right? If they lose this, in other words, we call it blurring. And if you look around the pec, you can actually see like a little, might even look like a little bit of water, right? Or you look in your little different parts of the body. So we want to make sure that they're looking more vascular each day. If they lose that, cut the carbs back down. The highest calorie day is Thursday prior to the Saturday of competition. Friday, so what happens on Friday, you reduce the calories 20%, and that'll eliminate any of that blurriness that we're talking about if the athlete is really in shape. One of the problems with athletes, they blame everything on water, right? Oh, I retained too much water there. Most of the time, they're just haven't got all the fat off their body yet. That's one of those other things you kind of deal with. All right, but the bottom line is, if everything's working right, this is the way you would do it. If they are literally, their body fat's where it should be, like around 2, 3, 4%, right in there, then this is what you would do. The highest calorie day would be Thursday before the show, and then example 4,000 calories on Thursday, and then Friday would be 3,200. I'm just using an example. Now, and again, if they're still getting harder at the 4,000, you can just hold it there, right? If they're still getting harder and more vascular, but you got to be honest about that. And that's why it takes a second person to look at these people. So any of you that you do need a coach, right? You need a coach to be able to look at you and pay attention. There are so many great coaches out there nowadays that know how to do that. So far as sodium goes, a lot of people cut their sodium earlier. They eat low sodium stuff. We learned that many, many years ago not to do that. Keep it high, if anything, right? At least normal, right? We actually would keep it high through Wednesday before the show. Otherwise, your body finds other ways to hold water the way it should, because that's the healthier thing. We want to suck it out, right? So high, and then Wednesday, you drop it, and none until Saturday morning. Saturday morning, it doesn't matter at that particular point. In fact, a little sodium is good, all right, at that point. But then you drop it and you watch. I mean, if let's say you were like my off-season weight, 265 was my off-season weight and guest posing weight, but 245 before I dropped the sodium. At 245, drop the sodium, literally I weighed 230 the next day. I mean, it's that fast in the next 2 days. That's how fast it'll go. Water consumption high. Keep it going all the way through all the way to mid-afternoon Friday. Load up as much as you can drink, all the way, comfortably, obviously, until about mid-afternoon Friday, and then all you need to do is sip, right? And then to your water, you're full like that, and that's like its own natural diuretic. It works that way. I'm not going to get into diuretics, but that's something hopefully you can avoid. You'd be surprised how many people use those because they think it's just water they're holding when it really is body fat. But I'm not advocating that. I'm just telling you this is the best natural diuretic you can possibly use. That formula I just gave you there. And on competition day, consume your pregame meal, which you know what that is. It can be just protein but higher in carb. That's what a pregame meal is if you're an athlete, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, or anything else. A little higher in carb now, right? But don't fill the stomach. So it's not going to be a big pregame meal. It's going to be a smaller one, right? So it can be your pancakes. It can be with some turkey or whatever you want, right? And then you trickle in carbs the rest of the day. Backstage, before you get there, like white rice, sweet potatoes, banana, mix those all in one. That's gentle on the stomach as well. About every hour, you just take a couple bites here and there, and you're just getting pumped up. You're feeling full vascular, right, until stage time. And then here's where you go from water to an isotonic, like Gatorade or one of those things, because your body is kind of weird from drinking distilled water before that, or cooking in distilled water, no sodium. You want a little bit of the isotonic solution back in there, and only when thirsty. You don't need it. Just sip a little bit here and sip a little bit there. Okay, and there's your program right there. This is the whole thing right here. This is what we do and we have thousands and thousands of physique athletes that we work with. Many of them are sponsored also by us, so they get all this stuff for free because they're taking care of their communities with the dotFIT program and everything else. So here's what it looks like. This is their off-season kind of protein recommendation as they get closer to the contest. This is the final contest supplements as needed. We add glutamine, Thermexcel, of course, to cut the appetite. But they're staying on the same things we do, the muscle stack program, the entire time. So we're feeding muscle and starving fat. Great workouts all the way to the end, which is hard to do when you're dieting, right? So this is the physique and bodybuilder's competitor. And then here's sort of off-season stuff. You guys know, you've seen all this. This is up on our website, your muscle gain stacks with amino boost, creatine XXL, and everything else. You can find it all there. Okay, so there you are.